Sonic sees a lot of his friends as siblings, right? He sees Tails as a younger brother. Knuckles has a bit of that older brother kind of rivalry thing going on. But there was a time, and there are a couple of instances where Sonic himself actually straight up has blood siblings. And that's what we're gonna go over today. We're gonna go over all of Sonic's siblings in media. Now, there is actually not as much as, say, when we went over Sonic's parents, or over the various super forms of himself and his friends. This one is actually going to be quite short, but why not? You know, we've done the parents, time to do the siblings. So, let's not waste any more time, and let's go through all the siblings Sonic has had in various media. So, the first two we're going to go over is probably the two that most people know, which is Sonia and Manic from Sonic Underground. So, they are triplets, all three of them, including Sonic. They are separated from birth by their mother, Queen Alina, due to a prophecy told to her by the Oracle of Delphius. Sonic was sent to live with a couple called Bernie and Estil, who were fugitives. There was Sonia, who was raised by a wealthy woman named Lady Windermere until her robotization by Dr. Robotnik. And Manic was initially left on the doorstep of a house in the slums. However, Manic's basket was stolen and brought to the head thief called Farl, and he then trained Manic as a pickpocket in the sewers and on the streets of Robotropolis, along with many other young street urchins. So they all grew up very differently, you know? It's very much, you have one of them who was treated like very wealthy, almost royalty-esque, like Sonia, so she kind of got to keep her very wealthy status. Then you have Sonic, who was pretty much treated in like your middle-class, everyday family, and then you have Manic, who was in the slums, poor, all that stuff. So you have like three different backstories for every sibling. They each were like on a tier in the world, which I kind of like that idea that they were each brought up very differently. The siblings reunite and form a band, as well as fight back against Robotnik, and one day hope to free Mobotropolis from his control, reunite with their mother, and take back their kingdom. Sonia has pink-colored fur, while Manic has green fur. Now, I'm wondering if Manic's green fur might have something to do with a certain other green hedgehog in Sonic. Maybe that could be a thing. So Sonia and Manic, I can't really say much about them personality-wise, how I feel about their personality or anything like that, because I have not seen Sonic Underground yet. But, I mean, the idea of Sonic having two siblings it's intriguing. You know, it is very intriguing, I think. I think it is also worth pointing out that Sonia was initially going to be the only sibling for Sonic in the early stages of Sonic Underground. And in fact, in the early stages of Sonic Underground, she was going to be the main character, not Sonic. The reason for this was because the company that was making Sonic Underground, Dick Entertainment, wanted to draw in a female audience. So the Sonic was going to have very little in the show because he was going to be off-planet fighting Robotnik in other parts of the galaxy. Sonia would be the one on Mobius with the aid of her porcupine sidekick Quilly, who had been able to use his quills as weapons by firing them off at his enemies. He was going to be planned to have a crush on Sonia. Together, Sonia and Quilly would have fought against Grotty, Robotnik's thinner evil twin, who was left in charge after Robotnik and Sonic left the planet. Grotty would have deployed Scratch and Grounder as his primary henchmen to fight Sonia and Quilly. Yes. And initially, Sonia was going to be a lot more Jessica Rabbit inspired. Oh my god, can you imagine? It's bad enough with how she looks now. Can you imagine if they full on leaned into the whole Jessica Rabbit inspired thing? Jeez Louise, we'd be in a scary freaking place now, dude. Oh my god. For Manic, there's not much I can really say about his, concept and production and all that. The only thing I could say is that after they fully decided that they were going to make the show about three hedgehog siblings, Manic was created, and his original name was planned to be Edsel, which is a very interesting name. Okay. And Sonya and Manic, after Sonic Underground, that's pretty much it. They've kind of disappeared. I believe, and of course Sonic Underground ends on a cliffhanger. Well, not cliffhanger, but it ends on Resolved, right? The storyline ends on Resolved. And there was going to be apparently an Archie comic that was set to be like the finale of Sonic Underground, but that never came out. I believe if you go to Sonic Universe Online, which is a fan comic, they did end up making that, and they made their own like ending of Sonic Underground, so you can go read that and check it out. But Sonya and Manic did make somewhat of another appearance, though not as their characters, more like their names, because in the Archie Comics 25 years later storyline, and all the other how many years later storylines that Archie did, Sonic and Sally Acorn kids are named Sonya and Manic. So there you go, as a nice little Easter egg to if you know you know. I think that's fun that they kept the names of Sonya and Manic and they gave it to Sonic and Sally's kids. That's fun. I like that. And it seems that you know, the children, Sonya and Manic, they pretty much just have super speed like their dad. That's fun. I think that is pretty darn cool. So that is Sonya and Manic. They're kind of the known siblings of Sonic. You know, everyone's like, oh my god, you remember when Sonic had a brother and sister? But what you may not know is Sonic had another sister. We're talking about Tanya from the Sonic manga. So in the stories written by Kenji Terada, as well as the manga stories written by Hirokazu Hikawa and Koji Tanaka, she is called Tanya. However, in the manga stories written by Sanga Morimoto, the Kanata and her name is reversed, making her named Anita. The reason for this discrepancy is unknown. Despite the name's change, in the Sonic the Hedgehog book's cast page, Miyamoto depicted her wearing a shirt with the letter T painting on it, which has led to people saying that the proper way to pronounce her name is Tanya. So, as the series is primarily black and white, Tanya and other characters' colors are unknown. However, the April 1992 issue of Shogaku Konensai features a full-color cast illustration in which Tanya is a royal yellow color. Tanya is also royal yellow in the full-color Shogaku Ninensai stories. I'm messing this up, I'm sorry. Where she is known as Anita. So even in the stories where she's known as Anita, she is yellow, royal yellow color. That is Tanya. So Tanya, she is energetic and while often mischievous and a troublemaker, has a loyal heart. She enjoys making fun of people in an innocent manner and loves being active and taking risks. Contrary to her older brother, who seems to have more nerves and can get fed up with his cowardice. So I know what you're thinking. Sonic being coward. Remember, this is the manga. This is where Sonic is actually a hedgehog called Nicky, and Sonic is his like alter ego / future self. It's weird. When she was captured by Dr. Eggman, she was not only not afraid, but was also amused about how she could push Eggman's robots to do whatever she wanted. Despite all this, Tanya still acts her age, with her immaturity often complementing her recklessness. So Tanya plays the typical little sister that you kind of see in media, where the little sister is, you know, more stubborn, more kind of, you know, it's played for comedy, for laughs, how the younger sister kind of is the troublemaker, the more outgoing, sporty type one, right? You know what I mean, right? What I'm trying to say. So Tanya acts like that. And from the bit I've read in the manga, which is not a lot, mind you, I do like Tanya. I think it's really cool that, you know, we have, something like a little sister there. It's fun. Tanya is really, really fun. And there we go. That is Sonic's siblings in various corners of media. Now, these were the only siblings I was able to find. If I have missed any, please maybe just let me know respectfully, okay, respectfully in the comments that of other siblings that there have been for our nice little blue hedgehog boy here. And that's it. So let me know which one of these siblings you like, which ones are your favorites. Let me know in the comments down below. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys all next time.